All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at London.
London, always a good choice.
Always a good choice. We're using this great newsletter called Love to Visit London.
Lots to love, for sure.
Yeah, I've been looking through this, and it's jam-packed with good stuff.
It is.
So much so that it's actually going to take us 3 deep dives to get through it all.
Wow.
I know.
That's a lot. Okay.
It is a lot, so we're going to try to really, hit the highlights.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So they start off, right off the bat, talking about the Tate Modern.
Ah, yes. Classic.
Which, I've heard of, but I don't really know a lot about.
Okay.
So this newsletter really dives in a bit. And they say that their mission is to increase the public's enjoyment and understanding of British art from the 16th century to the present day and of international modern and contemporary art.
That's a pretty big mission.
It's huge.
Ambitious.
Very ambitious, but I mean, come on, it's the Tate Modern, right?
Well, and they're not wrong. I mean, it really is. Tate Modern is a global, phenomenon in the art world, It really is kind of a must-see if you're an art lover going to London.
Okay, so what makes it so special?
Well, I mean, first of all, the building itself. I mean, it's this massive former power station right on the bank of the Thames.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, just visually, it's striking, right?
Yeah.
And then inside, they have this incredible collection of art that really stands, like they said, from the 16th century all the way up to, cutting-edge contemporary pieces. So it's British art, but it's also, global, modern, and contemporary art.
Okay, so it's not just like a British art museum.
No, it's much broader than that. I mean, they have British art, definitely. But it's really about, a global perspective on art.
Yeah, they even included this picture in the newsletter. It's like this huge hall, and there's all these people just kind of milling around, and it looks so cool.
Oh, yeah, and the way they've, redesigned the space. I mean, it's really amazing what they've done with that old power station. It's very industrial, but also very modern and sleek.
Very cool. All right, so then they go on to mention the Tate Britain, which again, I know the name, but I don't really know what it's all about.
Yeah.
But they say it houses the world's largest collection of British art.
That's impressive.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So if you want to see British art, this is the place to go.
Absolutely. And I mean, think about it. British art, it's so much more than just, paintings of the Queen.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, shit.
It's got such a rich history, from the landscapes of Turner to the Pre-Raphaelites and all of their amazing detail.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I couldn't really tell you what they were all about.
Yeah, but it's all there at the Tate Britain. You could spend days just wandering through the galleries.
Okay, so then there's this section called Around the Web, and this is okay, get ready. It's like a rapid-fire list of London must-sees.
Hit me.
Okay, so we've got Shakespeare's Globe Theatre.
Of course.
And they talk about this immersive exhibition they have there.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that's amazing.
Then, get this, you can climb the UK's tallest snow globe for panoramic views of London.
A snow globe.
A snow globe. They don't really explain what that means, but it sounds amazing.
I'm intrigued.
Right. Okay, then we've got St. Paul's Cathedral, the Golden Hind, which is this historical ship.
The Golden Hind, that's the ship that Sir Francis Drake sailed around the world in.
Oh, wow. See, this is why we have you here.
Little historical tidbit there.
And then there's the Clink Prison Museum, which sounds a little creepy, but also really interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely one for history buffs.
Oh, and they mention all the royal palaces, castles, and residences.
Oh, yeah, you could spend a whole trip just exploring those.
Right. Like Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Kensington Palace, the list goes on.
It does.
Okay, so after all that history, they take us to Hackney.
Hackney, okay.
Yeah, which is this borough in East London that they describe as super cool.
Yeah, Hackney's definitely up and coming.
It's got this mix of cultures and art, and they say the food scene is incredible.
Oh, yeah, the food in Hackney is amazing. Lots of independent places, street food, really diverse.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it's got this great energy, lots of creatives and young professionals live there.
Yeah, they even included this picture of someone jogging in Hackney marshes. It's got the London skyline in the background, and it just looks, I don't know, it looks very peaceful and very lively at the same time.
Yeah, Hackney's got that vibe, for sure. Laid back, but also, buzzing with energy.
I love that. All right, and then last but not least, there's this little snippet they have from social media.
Okay.
And it's talking about this golden clock with a knight fighting a dragon. I know. And it's on the facade of Liberty of London.
Oh, on Liberty. Oh, that's cool.
Have you ever seen this?
I don't think I have, actually. I mean, I've been to Liberty of London, but I've never noticed that.
Me neither. And I've been looking at pictures, and it's like, it's right there.
Wow, that's a good find.
I know, right? So
Yeah.
apparently it's this big golden clock, and there's
Oh.
this, like, knight and dragon sculpture.
I'm gonna have to look for that next time I'm there.
Me too.
Liberty itself is like this amazing building. It's very ornate, kind of a Tudor revival style.
Okay, yeah, I can picture it. It's very fancy.
Yeah, and they sell like really high-end goods, like luxury fabrics and homewares.
So maybe we should, start saving up now
Yeah.
so we can afford to buy something there when we go to London.
That's a good idea.
All right, so we've gone from like world-class art to hidden architectural gems, and we've only just scratched the surface. But we need to take a closer look at the extra section, which is all about the Tate Britain.
All right, let's dive into that.
Yeah, because this is where they really drive home the significance of this place. They call it a walkthrough of 500 years of British art.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is. So
Okay.
let's see if they can back it up.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, I mean, 500 years, that's a lot of art.
That's a lot of history.
And they're not just talking about, like, a few random pieces here and there. They're saying you can literally walk through the galleries and see how British art has changed over time.
Like chronologically.
Yeah. Like, you start in one room and it's all, like, Tudor portraits and, scenes from that era. And then you move into the next room and it's the 17th century and so on.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Right. And you can see how, like, historical events and social movements influence the art.
Like the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. Or, the World Wars.
I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, art is definitely a reflection of the times, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And it works both ways, like art can also influence society.
Yeah, that's true. So it's not just about pretty pictures. It's like a whole dialogues, right?
Exactly. And the Tate Britain has like the whole conversation on display.
Okay, so we've got global art at the Tate Modern, and then this deep dive into British history and creativity at the Tate Britain. London's really sounding like an art lover's paradise right now.
It is. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. There's so much art in London.
I believe it.
Big museums, tiny little galleries, street art, you name it, London's got it.
All right, well, let's circle back to that around the web section because there was so much in there. I want to hear more about this Shakespeare's Globe Theater thing.
Oh, yeah, the Globe. It's amazing.
They mentioned this immersive exhibition, but they don't really explain what it is.
Well, so the Globe itself is like a reconstruction of the original Globe Theater, where Shakespeare's plays were first performed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So they built it using like traditional methods, materials. So it really feels like you're stepping back in time.
Oh, wow. So it's not like some modern building.
Oh, no. It's as authentic as they could make it.
That's so cool. What about this immersive exhibition?
Well, from what I've heard, it's basically like a way to really experience Shakespeare's world. Like they have interactive displays and costumes and even like live demonstrations.
Oh, wow. So it's not just like looking at stuff.
No, it's very hands-on. And they also, of course, have actual performances of Shakespeare's plays.
Oh, that's right.
And you can even get like standing room tickets, just like they did back in Shakespeare's day.
Oh, that would be so cool. I mean, can you imagine standing there in that open-air theater watching one of Shakespeare's plays?
It's supposed to be an incredible experience.
Okay, that's definitely going on the list. Oh, what about the Golden Hind?
Ah, yes, the Golden Hind. That's another one that's like a step back in time.
Yeah, they said it's a historical ship, but they don't really say much more than that.
Well, it's a full-size reconstruction of Sir Francis Drake's flagship. The first English ship to circumnavigate the globe.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you can actually go on board and explore the decks and see the cannons and everything.
So you can like really picture what it would have been like to be a sailor back then.
Exactly. It's a pretty amazing way to connect with history.
It is. It's funny. We've talked about art museums and theaters and now this historical ship. London seems to be this amazing blend of the ancient and the modern.
It is.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about London. Like, you can walk down a street and see like medieval buildings and then turn a corner and there's this like super modern skyscraper.
Yeah. It's like they've managed to preserve their history while also embracing the future.
Exactly. It's a really unique city in that way.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about art, history, architecture, even a bit of adventure.
Hmm?
But before we get too carried away, I want to go back to that question I asked earlier. If you could only choose one of these attractions to visit, which would it be and why?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, they all sound so amazing.
I know, right?
But if I had to choose just one, I think I'd go with the Tate Britain. Really? Why the Tate Britain?
I think for me, it's just like that idea of seeing, 500 years of British art all in one place.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing to think about.
Yeah.
Like you're walking through these galleries and you're literally seeing history unfold before your
It's
eyes.
like a visual timeline of British history.
Exactly. And not just history, but like, culture and society and everything.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, the Tate Modern sounds amazing and all those other attractions, but there's something about that, like, deep dive into a specific culture that's really appealing.
Yeah, and I think, with British art specifically, it's just there's so much there. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got, the romantic landscapes, the pre-Raphaelites, the Impressionists, all these different movements and
You can
styles.
see how they all kind of like build on each other, right?
Exactly. It's fascinating to see how like, one movement influences the next
Yeah.
and how artists were responding to, the world around them.
Well, you've convinced me. Tate Britain it is. Although, honestly, this whole deep dive has just made me want to go to London, like, right now.
I know, me too. I mean, even just reading about these places, it's so inspiring.
Yeah. It's like this newsletter has given us just a little taste of what London has to offer.
And it's clearly a lot.
It is a lot. So much to see, so much to do, so much history, so much art.
Well, we've only got so much time in each deep dive.
That's true.
Yeah,
But hopefully we've given our listeners a good starting point for their own London adventures.
definitely. And even if you can't, hop on a plane tomorrow, you can still explore London, through books and movies and even just like online.
That's true. There's a whole world of London out there just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly.
All right, well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive. A huge thanks to Love to Visit London for this fantastic newsletter.
Yeah, great newsletter.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into something equally fascinating.
Can't wait.
Until then, keep exploring and keep those curious minds engaged.